Sometimes there are things that you know you can't change and you move on. Sometimes, though, you get stuck in them, don't you? Today and in our deep dive show on Thursday, we'll show you why and how it's so important to move on. I'm Ravi Tangri. This is my co-host, Holly Duckworth. This is Presence, how to live and lead consciously. This is the Power Show, which is free to you every Tuesday. And our Insiders Club members will get the Deep Dive show on Thursday, plus a whole lot of other resources on our presentshow.com site. So, Holly, this brings to a close our February focus on love of all types in our life.
Ravi, this show is so important at this time of transformational change in our world, because what we've been experiencing, certainly, in January and since the election, is massive fear and massive uncertainty. And that fear is, in my humble opinion, cultivating more fear and kind of continuing to keep us whipped up. And I think that the more we as presence-filled, mindful people can continue to root in and ground into loving what is, and loving the reality that seasons change. In all things, look to nature. That when we love the fact that the leaves fall so that those tulips can come in the spring, or that the snowfall, that when we love what is, we release resistance to what is not, and we create the opportunity to be in a positive, joy-filled world, even when things are really hard.
And I know it's happening in America, but honestly, there's been a lot of reactions globally, in Canada here too. It's all over. And there's a lot of polarization that's happened, right? And the fact is, if you focus on the frustration, we've talked about this on earlier shows this month, the way we create things in our life and program ourselves and program the universe is we create a picture, infuse it with emotion. Doesn't matter what the emotion is. With a vision, it's emotions of joy, gratitude. If you focus on what you don't want and infuse it with frustration, you start to see more of that in your life. You start to create more. That's the filter that you start seeing your life with. And that makes you far less resourceful in moving forward.
And I just want to make sure that we're clear with our listeners that we're not saying don't advocate for what you want, but we're saying, can you come from that advocacy place, from a place of responsibility, the ability to respond in love, and love that although things are whipped up right now, we get to bring new light and new awareness and new consciousness and new questions to this thing called the human experience, rather than, oh my God, I'm against this man or against this woman or against this particular issue. That when we love what is, even that experience of change, we infuse it with an attractive energy that's going to draw into us the ideas, the beliefs, and the people that are going to change the way we lead, whether that's in your school PTA or in your company or just in your own home and family life. That, you know what, I'm going to love myself through this challenge.
Yeah. And the thing is that bottom line is, if you are in frustration, you're actually going to the fight or flight response, and you make yourself less resourceful. So you're less able to do things. And I think what's important is you need to acknowledge whatever is working that you don't like. Acknowledge it, but not get lost in the frustration of it, and stay focused on where you want to go. Then you're much more resourceful. If you're in that fight or flight response, you're shutting down your brain. You're doing all sorts of things that make you way less effective. So we probably need to move into tips here. And one of the things is the frustration, to vent your frustration. I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. It's a really simple tool. Write out all the stuff that you don't like. Or you talked about writing a letter. In this case, it's if someone ticks you off, you write a letter to them. You don't send it. but you write it out. Write out all the feelings in your head, all the 4-letter words, all of that, and then rip the page out, tear it up, tear it into little pieces. If you want to burn it, bury the ashes. It's amazingly cathartic.
Brene Brown talks about get in the rumble with this. So write down what it is you're feeling, what it is you're experiencing, loving what is, get in the rumble with it and say, okay, what is it that I want instead? And take that tip and go, okay, I'm going to love what this is, and I'm going to see the good in it. I'm going to forgive it. I'm going to have compassion for it. I'm going to have compassion for myself. And so, on the flip side of once you vent it and you're in the rumble with it, look for the parts of what happened that do work for you or do bring out that best in you. We've talked on last week's show about self-love. Here's what I can love about myself in spite of this experience. That's truly loving what is.
Yeah. And there's always some little, it may be a tiny piece, but there's something if you look for it. Don't, the old saying, don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. There's something there. So this is the Power Show. We want to give you some real quick nuggets. You can get this free every Tuesday at presentshow.com and on our sites, on our pages on Facebook. If you would like more, our Insiders Clubs give you a deep dive show where we get so much more into this topic, much more in terms of concepts and tools and approaches, and lots of bonus videos and articles and other resources. And for the Insiders Club members, we will see you Thursday for our deep dive. Bye-bye, Holly.